And we're live.
Good afternoon. I call to order today's regular council meeting of the Township of Cavan Monaghan on this Monday, November 1st. I'd ask for approval of today's agenda. Moved by Deputy Mayor Graham, seconded by Councillor Belch. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes.
Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
And Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Motion is approved.
I was going to say that it looked like nothing.
All right, you had me freaked out there for a second. Okay, we're good. We have an agenda. We'll now carry on. I'd ask that any members of council declare any pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof at this time or when the situation arises. Seeing none, there is no closed session, so we will go into our presentations. In light of the fact that it's virtual, the presentation is going to be a virtual acknowledgement and recognition. So item 6.1 is years of service certificates, and those will be for Chris Allison, Parks and Facilities Manager, has 15 years of service. Kyle Phillips, Chief Building Official, 10 years of service. And David Harrigan, Public Works Department, 10 years of service. So on behalf of all council and staff, we want to congratulate them and thank them very much for their time with the municipality. Next item, delegations, is 7.1 George Rabb, unimproved Ann Street Road Allowance request. Madam Clerk, I will turn it over to you to admit Mr. Rabb.
Through you, Mayor McFadden, Mr. Rabb is with us.
Very good. Welcome, Mr. Rabb. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Yes, I'm interested in acquiring the road allowance, which runs from Main Street on and ends at this sort of empty lot that I've owned now for probably 30 years. And it's the only access to the lot. I inquired about 3 years ago initially about this, and I think at that time there was a presentation made to council, and council approved, I think, $4,000 to look into it. And then I received word back that for some reason council didn't feel they wanted to sell that or to have me acquire that property at the time. And I didn't understand why, but I thought, well, I'll just wait it out a little bit. It's not going to go anywhere because it's the only access, it's the only purpose it serves is to get to that property. And but then again, my son is out east, and there's talk of him returning back to where he was born in Millbrook. And a dream would always, as any parent would be, to have our kids living near us. So I thought, maybe it's worth revisiting this. So I sent another letter asking if I could make a delegation to ask again. And that's more or less where it stands. I guess, as well as I wrote in my little note underneath, that I know in the past couple of years, these unimproved road allowances have been offered up to adjacent properties just for the cost of the survey or whatever. And I think this is probably a very similar case in that there's nobody else that could benefit from this property. And I did a door-to-door back then to see if anybody had any interest, and nobody did. It's also narrower than a building lot, and it basically is just access to this this vacant lot that I have. So my hope is that we can move forward with that.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Rabb. Any questions from members of council? Councillor Moore, if you have any questions, you can either just interrupt or you can raise your hand. I'm fine with either. Okay, seeing no questions, is Councillor Belch still there? Just turned his camera off. Okay, all right, very good.
I just turned it off because there was problems.
Okay, very good. I don't see any questions, Mr. Rabb, so I would suggest that we bring forward a motion then to refer this to staff and have staff bring us back a discussion or a report so that we can have the further conversation and pick up where we left off. How's that sound, Mr. Rabb?
Okay, that's fine. I like to add as well, I think it came up at some point, there was, well, a couple of things. One is it would be, you know, creating another lot in the village, which I think is what we hope to do, you know, have infilling as well in the village. And the other thing, it's on a completely separate title than from our other property, which is adjacent to that. So there's no intention whatsoever to ever connect those two properties. And you know, even if there was somewhere down the road, it would have to come back, and the decision, you know, that could be made at that point. So, you know, basically it's just to create a building lot, you know, hopefully in the future.
Very good. I saw a mover over there with Councillor Huntley, or was that a question?
A bit of both. I'll
Okay.
move it, but
Okay, I'll get a mover and a seconder and then a question. Okay, mover is Councillor Huntley, second. I'm looking at you, Councillor Graham, because I can't look at anybody else. Okay, Councillor Graham. Okay, we got a mover and a seconder, and that, okay, sorry, now I see Kathy. And Councillor Huntley, go ahead, you had a question.
I guess my only question would be like to staff is like, what is a reasonable timeline to get back to Mr. Rabb? Obviously, he's been waiting a few years already. So, you know, to send it to staff to come back at a later date is great, but you know, if it's going to be another 3 years, we should probably, you know, put some sort of reasonable timeline on this.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Hurley.
Through you, Council, to Councillor Huntley, we did make a decision actually on the property. The report did go to Council, and Council decided not to sell the property at the time. So there was a final decision made at that request at that time. With Mr. Rabb coming forward at this time, we're happy to reconsider that look, review the material and come back with a report. And for timelines, we're probably looking within the next 2 months.
Reasonable, I think.
Okay, very good. Something it's just come to mind maybe for consideration, and I don't recall it being in that report, is I know there's special exemptions when you're doing roads with regards to environmental considerations. You certainly have the ability to come through more environmental areas than you would if it was private property. So just to ensure that if it is for consideration to have that sold to Mr. Rabb, that the environmental wouldn't effectively prevent him from putting a driveway in, hence that's in the first place, to avoid any future frustration if that's so arise. Because I know there is different situations. I just would like to ensure that that if it is sold, it's done in good faith, that he doesn't end up with another piece he can't use. Ms. Hurley? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to Council, just to add to that, we do have a policy with regards to disposition of land. So it will be imperative for staff when they come back to the report that they'll bring that to your attention as well. There is a policy for us to follow if Council chooses to sell that property.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Any further comment? Kathy, I did see your hand, but I'm assuming that was to second it?
That was to second it.
Okay, all right, very good. There's no further questions then. Madam Clerk, a recorded vote?
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Is muted. Where is Councillor Belch?
down
Oh,
there.
you're muted, Councillor Belch.
Looks
There
like
we
you're
go.
unmuted
Yes.
now. Perfect.
There we go.
Deputy Mayor Graham
Yes.
and Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Very good. Motion is approved. Mr. Rabb, thank you very much for the delegation. And I must comment on what a beautiful studio you have behind you. It's nice to be able to do some of these meetings virtually and literally welcome us into your home and your studio. So thank you, Mr. Rabb, for that today.
I appreciate that. And I like Councillor you know, Huntley's large poppy behind his head, you know, like a beautiful flower. There he is.
He's not wearing it.
No. Well, thank you all. I really appreciate your consideration. I appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Madam Clerk, I'll give you a couple minutes there.
Through you, Mayor McFadden, Mr. Rabb has been demoted back to attendee.
Very good. Okay, we have a public meeting then. Item 8.1, I need a resolution to open the public meeting. Moved by Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Next item is Report Planning 2021-55, Stewart Official Plan Amendment Application Report. Ms. Ellis, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor McFadden, members of council, staff, and members of the public. Today's public meeting is about a proposed official plan amendment application that pertains to lands at 872 Sharp Line in part of Lot 12, Concession 11 of the Cavan Ward. The property subject to the application is about 40.82 hectares, or just over 100 acres in size, and has frontage on both Sharp Line and Stewart Line. The property is currently designated agricultural in the township's official plan. Severances in the agricultural designation are not permitted generally. There are some exceptions for farm-related severances, but severance applications to create new non-farm residential lots are not permitted. As such, Mr. Stewart has applied to the Township of Cavan Monaghan through his planning consultant, Emma Drake of D.M. Wills Associates Limited, to change the land use designation on a portion of the property from agricultural to hamlet. That official plan amendment application will affect approximately 0.82 hectares or 2 acres of land in the southeast corner of the property. The land proposed to be redesignated immediately abuts the existing hamlet designation on the north side of Sharp Line in the hamlet of Ida. The official plan amendment does propose to change the designation from agriculture to hamlet, and the official plan amendment will also provide relief from the policy in our official plan that prohibits the expansion of settlement area boundaries without the benefit of a municipal comprehensive review. So as proposed in the official plan amendment, there will be a site-specific policy added to the plan and the wording is as proposed, says, notwithstanding the provisions of section 4.9.3a and section 8.3 herein, the external boundaries of the hamlet of Ida shall be expanded as they apply to a portion of the lands in part of lot 12, concession 11 of the Cavan Ward, being roll number 1509-010-040-2300 and municipally known as 872 Sharp Line. To implement the creation of new lots if the designation gets approved, a severance application will be required. That will be applied for through Peterborough County, and the township would be a commenting agency at that time. But today we are solely dealing with the official plan amendment application. As required by the Planning Act, notice of the application was provided by first-class prepaid mail to all assessed landowners within 120 meters or 400 feet of the lands to be redesignated. Notice was provided to all the required ministries and agencies and to all directors in the township. A sign was also posted on the property. So the notice does meet the requirements of the Planning Act. As of the writing of the report and to date, the township has not received any public comment or questions about the proposed amendment. Ministry and agency circulation indicated no objections to the application. So that's where we are in terms of public and agency comment today. So the purpose of today's meeting is to provide members of the public an opportunity to comment on the application or to ask questions. And then council can consider that information in addition to the information provided in the planning justification report and the ministry and agency comments and the staff report, and then make a decision. So just in the efforts of transparency, the recommendation from staff at this point is that council approve bylaw number 2021-62 to adopt official plan amendment number 8 to the township's official plan. And secondly, that council authorize the submission of the adopted official plan amendment to Peterborough County for review and approval.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ellis. Questions from members of council? Okay, seeing none, then I will move on to questions and comments from members of the public. Madam Clerk, do we have any in attendance waiting to come in?
Through you, Mayor McFadden, we do. We have Emma Drake from DM Wills, and I've just promoted her.
Very good. Welcome, Emma. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect, thank you. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this afternoon. As stated, my name is Emma Drake. I'm an intermediate land use planner at DM Wills Associates and applicant on behalf of Mark and Deb Stewart, who are the property owners. I think Karen has covered off everything pretty effectively, so I won't take up too much of your time. Just to reiterate that this application really involves the minor rounding out of the IDA settlement area. So on Schedule 1 to the official plan amendment, you can see that the boundaries for the hamlet actually already extend along Sharp Drive to the south and immediately abut the property to the east. So shown on your screen there in purple, those are the existing hamlet boundaries. So we're really just looking to round out that one corner. The application, by hopefully facilitating the creation of 2 lots, will also help to encourage housing in IDA and provide some housing options. We do obviously are in support of this application, and we agree with Karen's recommendations for approval. I'll leave it at that for now, but if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else, Ms. Page?
Do you, Mayor McFadden? No, there's not.
Okay, very good. Then
Actually,
we
having
move.
said that, Mayor
Yes.
McFadden, I should confirm that Mr. Rabb doesn't want to speak.
Oh, okay.
I'll send him a direct message and you proceed.
I will wait because my next section is consideration of the report.
Very true. One moment. I'm just going to promote him. We're just going to ask him. I apologize. I don't see where I can do that. I'm going to guess through you in the empty chair, no. Mr. Rabb, can you hear us by chance?
He didn't respond. Very good.
So do you think, I think we're good. Okay, I'll promote him back.
I think we're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to double check and not speak on his behalf. Okay, perfect. Sorry, continue.
Very good. Okay, consideration of the report. I'm going to open up for comments, and then once that's finished, then we can entertain a motion. Councillor Huntley.
I had a question for Mr. Drake, actually, before we consider it.
Okay.
I don't know, Sid, if you can bring that map back up of IDA that you had there before.
That would be, I believe that's Carly on keyboard.
Or Carly, I'm sorry, Carly. In the comment you made, Ms. Drake, about rounding out the hamlet borderlines, like I'm just curious on the criteria used to do that, because if you look at the east side of the hamlet, I mean, it looks like there's another 4 or 5 spots out there that could be drawn out. Like what how do you determine what's rounding out and what's just kind of growing? I'm just because you're obviously asking us to change the borders of the hamlet, on a quick swift, of the pen, but I'm just trying to figure out how logistically easy is that?
Sure. So through the mayor, the policies for minor rounding out come from the growth plan. So the growth plan has a series of criteria that are to be met when you consider minor rounding out versus expansion. And one of the key criteria is that it's not minor rounding out is not permitted in the green belt. So IDA is outside of the green belt area, so we're okay there. And the other is that it maintains the local character of the area. As I mentioned here, we're directly across from residential development to the south of Sharp Line and immediately abutting hamlet designation to the east. So, and the fact that this is to be developed with single detached dwellings on individual lots keeps with the established character of the area. So those are kind of 2 of the key criteria in terms of minor rounding out. The growth plan also speaks to the availability of the lots to be appropriately serviced. So in this case, we would expect that they would be on private individual septics and wells consistent with the surrounding area. And we have designed or chosen the area for these severances to be of a size that's reflective of that local character, and that would be expected to be able to maintain those private individual on-site services. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I believe so. Thank you.
Very good. Further questions from members of council? Deputy Mayor Graham.
Thank you, Mayor, and through you. I guess I have difficulty with the in the consideration portion of the meeting, which I think we're in now. But
We are.
I have difficulty with, and part of it stems from that explanation. In my recollection, in having reviewed some of the previous public meetings, that the rounding out is not necessarily what is being done here. It's an expansion of this. It's a request for the expansion of the settlement area. None of the actual lands under consideration are within the settlement area. They abut it on two sides, absolutely understood. But this is prime agricultural land. It does result in an increase in the area of the settlement area, which by my understanding from some of the other legislation and what some of the contents of the report from the consultant would traditionally be only feasible under a municipal comprehensive review, which I believe we are in the process of doing. So, I understand this is not necessarily a tremendously significant adjustment to that settlement area, but there are competing pieces of legislation, and it's very kind of complicated as to what takes primacy. I think the growth plan definitely gives the opportunity for this sort of adjustment to be considered. But when I look at the other lower levels of more localized legislation, to me, it doesn't meet a lot of those criteria, and it certainly doesn't provide any justification for circumventing the process for expanding a settlement area. So I'm unfortunately leaning away from supporting the report as presented for those sort of justifications or those reasons. So just putting that out there, not really a question.
Very good. Any further questions to consider for under consideration? I see Councillor Moore. Go ahead, Councillor Moore.
Yes. Just one question. Is this not similar to what we just did a couple years ago on two lots right very close to there? They were prime agriculture land and we gave them two building lots. Is it not it's on the same road?
I'm going to turn that one over to Miss Ellis. Miss Ellis, I believe Councillor Moore is referring to the two lots that were right at the corner of County Road 10 and
Yes.
Sharp Line.
That's right.
Go ahead, Miss Ellis.
Through you, Mayor McFadden, to Councillor Moore. There were two severance applications at the corner of Sharp Line and County Road 10. Those severance applications are actually, the land affected by those applications is already designated hamlet. So non-farm residential development is a permitted use in the hamlet designation. And so the severances could be considered under that existing official plan policy.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions, comments during consideration of the report? We have two recommendations before us. How does council wish to proceed? Councillor Belch. Oh, Councillor Belch. Oh, shoot. Yeah, he probably had a question. He probably wasn't making a motion. Maybe if you turn your camera off, Councillor Belch, if you can still hear us.
Question. Okay.
Go ahead, Councillor Belch.
Okay, through Mayor, just interested in the property that goes all the way up to Stewart Line. What prevents somebody wanting to
Okay, we seem to have lost Councillor Belch. I'm going to call a quick recess so that we can sort that out and let Councillor Belch disconnect and reconnect and see if that fixes it. So stand by. We'll just call a quick recess.
Oh, yeah.
How's that, Councillor Belch? Any better?
Hey, Scott, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Your video's a little jumpy, so maybe we'll just shut your video off again and just leave your mic open,
Okay.
and we'll try that. The last time you spoke, we couldn't really hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so once our clerk is there, Councillor Belch, I'm going to turn it back to you because you were in the midst of trying to provide a comment.
Just a question.
Oh, just a question. Okay, so we'll await the word from the clerk, who is back online, and she gave us the nod.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Belch.
Okay, through you, Mayor, just wanted to ask Karen, with the outline of the property that runs all the way up to Stewart Line, what in the process would prevent some, the owners at a later to sever off 2 more lots beside the scheme, or to sever off up at Stewart Line? Because it's agricultural land. I'm confused. I thought agricultural land, you don't get any severances.
Ms. Ellis, are you clear on the question? I know it was sort of broken up, but I think you got the gist of it. And Councillor Belch, if it doesn't answer the question, just let us know, but it was broken up, but I think we're going to put it together and understand what you said. Take it away, Ms. Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor McFadden. It's you, Councillor Belch, and the other members of council. So the land is designated agriculture right now. And so the creation of new non-farm residential lots is not permitted under the current designation. So right now, the owners of the property cannot have any severances either on the Stewart Line frontage or the Sharp Line frontage. That is why Mr. Stewart has applied for an official plan amendment to change the land use designation on about 2 acres of the land in the southeast corner. That is the only way that the consideration of 2 new non-farm residential lots can be considered and have a reasonable chance of success. So under the policy framework today, there is no severance potential on the remainder of the property.
Okay, very good. Councillor Belch, did that answer your question?
Yes, but I guess as a supplementary question to follow up, what's preventing another amendment to be passed in the future to allow for that?
Through you, Mayor McFadden, to members of council. So technically, there's nothing stopping a landowner from applying for any kind of a planning approval. So property owners, and in fact, anybody else can apply for a planning approval or a planning application on any piece of property that they see fit. Having said that, that doesn't mean that they all get approved. So any future application would have to satisfy the provincial planning framework in terms of the provincial policy statement and the growth plan, would also have to satisfy the policies of the county official plan and meet the general intent of the township's official plan. So there is a series of policies that would have to be addressed. There may be some supporting documentation that will be required depending on the nature of the application. And through the pre-consultation process that we subscribe to in the township with Peterborough County, we would identify all of that policy framework and any information requirements. We would relay any known positions of council if you have a history or you've given direction in terms of certain outcomes that you would like to see. So that information gets translated at that pre-consultation stage. But again, there's nothing to stop anybody from applying for an application on any land that they choose to want to change.
Very good. Councillor Graham, or Deputy Mayor Graham, sorry.
Just to follow up, Mayor, on that point, Karen, as I alluded to in an earlier comment, there is an MCR currently being undertaken by the municipality. Is there an estimated timeline horizon as to when you might estimate that process would be completed or nearing completion? Just a rough estimate?
Through you, Mayor McFadden, to Deputy Mayor Graham and the members of council. So you are quite right. We are involved in a municipal comprehensive review with Peterborough County and the other local municipalities within the county. We are working towards a deadline of July of 2022. That is when the new county official plan has to be completed and adopted by council and submitted to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing for approval. We are diligently working through some issues, and with the growth management work and the land needs assessment underway and being publicly discussed now, that will lead to the completion of some of the mapping. So I think it's in our work plan that we would like to have a draft document available to talk to county council about and local municipalities in the early new year, and then go out for public consultation a little bit later than that. But July of 2022 is, according to the province, that's the deadline.
Within the year would be a fair summary.
Correct.
Okay. Well, Mayor, if there's no other comments, I'm prepared to make a motion at the future time, but I'll yield it back to you.
Very good. I don't see any other comments. If none, okay, Deputy Mayor Graham, go ahead.
Given the response from Ms. Ellis, I don't see any justification in the report that requires us to circumvent the MCR process that's currently underway, and that timeline will, if it yields any changes to the settlement area boundaries, et cetera, that's the process by which I believe we're supposed to be following in order to have a consideration to expand a settlement area, and we should do so. So based on that, I don't support the OPA at this time, but we'll receive the report and then obviously not in support.
Very good. Do I have a seconder on the motion? I can't see 2 out of my 4. Councillor Belch or Councillor Moore?
Yes.
Okay, so we got a seconder on the motion. Any further comment before we go to a vote? Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
No.
Counselor Moore,
No.
Counselor Belch,
Now I'm totally confused as to what we're voting on.
Madam-
Are we vote?
So the motion is to not support the severance. That's it in a nutshell. The clerk can read it, but essentially that it is a motion to not support moving ahead with this application. So a yes means you're, I hate to be negative, a yes means you're not supporting it, a no means that you would be supporting it.
But
It's unfortunate your connection's bad. A
So
recap on the votes. Deputy Mayor Graham has voted yes. Yep.
I'm interested in going along with Deputy Mayor Graham's suggestion that we wait until the comprehensive review comes in.
Okay, then that would be a yes.
We wouldn't be. Okay.
Sorry, Councillor Belch, it's all broken up, so I need a yes or a no. Deputy Mayor Graham has voted yes, Councillor Moore has voted no, and Councillor Huntley has voted no.
Yes.
Yes, okay, very good. Madam Clerk, sorry, back to you.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes, motion is approved. Madam Clerk, is there anything further we need to do on this application at this point?
I do not believe so, Mayor McFadden. I will quickly turn to Miss Ellis and Miss Hurley just to confirm that.
Through you, Mayor McFadden, with your motion not to support the application, that means that you've made a decision and staff will implement that decision with the notice of decision to affected parties, and they will then make their decision whether to live with your decision or whether to appeal that decision to the local planning appeals tribunal. Very
good. Okay, thank you, Ms. Ellis. Our next item then, actually, I need a resolution to close the public meeting. Councillor Huntley and Deputy Mayor Graham. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Counselor Belch,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
and Counselor Huntley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next item, 9.1 minutes of the regular council meeting held October 18th, 2021. Motion to adopt those minutes. Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Counselor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Counselor Belch.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next item, I'm going to do them collectively. 10.1 and 10.2 is the Cabot-Monaghan Public Library Board meeting minutes of September 21st and October 5th. Motion for those minutes, Deputy Mayor Graham, seconded by Councillor Moore. Does that work?
That works.
Very good. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Counselor Huntley,
Yes.
Counselor Belch,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next item is Report Plan 2021-56, July 2021 Draft City of Peterborough Official Plan. Ms. Ellis?
Thank you, Mayor McFadden. To you and members of Council, Planning Report 2021-56 is before you today with the recommendation that Council direct staff to provide written comments to the City of Peterborough regarding the July 2021 Draft City of Peterborough Official Plan with regard to, firstly, requesting written confirmation that there is no need to continue boundary adjustment discussions with the Township of Cabot-Monaghan at this time. Secondly, supporting the position that development of the rural transitional area is not permitted until the lands are redesignated through a municipal comprehensive review. Thirdly, supporting the protection of employment districts for employment uses. Fourthly, supporting the preparation of an employment land strategy in collaboration with Peterborough County and the Township. Fifthly, requesting the City, County, and Township develop a more collaborative approach to planning for the Peterborough Airport and surrounding area. Sixthly, requesting the policy framework be amended to permit the consideration of cross-border servicing for regionally significant employment-related projects. Next, requesting the policy framework be amended to require an official plan amendment to permit the upgrade to or expansion of municipal utility services, sanitary sewer and water supply to the Peterborough Airport. Next, requesting that the portion of the future municipal roadway corridor in the North Monaghan ward of the township be removed from the plan. And lastly, requesting that the township receive a written commitment from the city that township representatives will be included on any future master transportation planning processes affecting lands in the township.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Any questions from members of council for Ms. Ellis on her report? Thank you, Ms. Ellis, very much. It was a lengthy document and several of them to go through to compile that list of concerns for the Township of Capmillion. Thank you. Any questions from other members of council? Seeing none, I think you've encapsulated our thoughts precisely. Can I motion then to receive the report, accept the recommendation? My only addition would be to also ensure that it's sent to Peterborough City Council directly. And I've got a motion there from Deputy Mayor Graham, seconded by Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Go ahead, Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Me too.
I was just going to say I only counted 4. Okay, so we're good. We're good. 5. Sorry, Councillor Huntley, your vote doesn't matter. We already got 4.
I think, did I not call Councillor Huntley? I apologize. I apologize. Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
thank you.
Let's keep going. We'll do it again. Motion is approved. My only other thought, request, considering this topic of the city of Peterborough and sending a letter off, is I would like to request our CAO to send a letter on our behalf to the city of Peterborough Council, requesting that we get a response back from our letter of January 2021, which was with regards to working cooperatively and collaboratively together on mutually agreeable solutions for employment. So we do have that letter out there. It has not been responded to. It was from last January. I would like a motion of council to send a follow-up letter. Mover? Deputy Mayor Graham, seconder. Councillor Huntley. Ms. Hurley, I saw a hand. You want more clarity?
No, I'm fine, sir.
No, you're good. Okay. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Very good. Just a question for Ms. Ellis. Should we also send that request to the County of Peterborough, considering some of it may be up for consideration in that as well? I'm thinking I might have missed that.
Through you, Mayor McFadden, staff will implement whatever decision you would like to make.
Okay.
So,
Okay, I'm going to get another motion to have that it just included on the CC list that we should also send to the County of Peterborough. Deputy Mayor Graham, you okay with that? I see you over.
Yeah, I was just going to say, did I move that? So it's yeah.
You just moved it. I got Councillor Moore for the seconder. Madam Clerk, recorded vote. Sorry, this is 3 recorded votes on one item today. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Thank you, Ms. Ellis, for that report.
you're welcome.
Our next item, Report Planning 2021-57, Update Status Report 1066 Sire Line. Ms. Burley.
Good afternoon, Council. The report before you, obviously, I'm pretending to be Mr. Connolly today. He is not able to attend the council meeting today. The report is before you. It is to be received. This is his monthly report on Sire Line. I will let you know, as per the report, we are still in the process of having it peer reviewed with County of Peterborough. So once that is completed, thank you, Carly. Once that's completed, we'll continue with the going forward with the amendment, official plan amendment and zoning bylaw. So
Very good.
hopefully we get results very soon.
Excellent. Any questions for Ms. Hurley? Deputy Mayor Graham.
Through you, Mayor, just to, if I'm following the chart and the stars and the respective arrows correctly, is that peer review process expected to be finalized by the sort of year end or January, February of next year? Is that the idea? Or just curious if there's sort of an actual, I know it could be a flexible process, but I didn't know if there was an expectation.
We believe that the process will go forward for the end of this year. So I'm not sure it will be completed, but we hope to go ahead with the OPA and the zoning bylaw.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Motion then to receive that report, accept the recommendations. Deputy Mayor Graham, Councillor Huntley, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
and Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Next item, report ECD 2021-06, road occupancy permit for Christmas in the Village. Ms. Ayat, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor McFadden. Report ECD 2021-06 is before council with the recommendation that council authorize staff to apply for a road occupancy permit for the Christmas in the Village event on County Road 21 that will take place from Tupper Street to Union Street. The second recommendation is that the Township of Cabot-Monaghan provide a certificate of insurance to the County of Peterborough for the BIA's Christmas in the Village event on December 2nd, 2021.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Ayat? None. Motion then to receive the report and accept the recommendation. Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes. Councillor
Moore,
Yes.
and Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next item, report corporate services 2021-20, 2022 municipal election simply voting agreement. Ms. Page.
Thank you, Mayor McFadden. Before you, council, is Corporate Services Report 2021-20, that council adopt bylaw number 2021-63, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement with Simply Voting, Inc. for the provisions of telephone and internet voting services for the 2022 municipal election.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Page? Seeing none, motion then to receive the report. Oh, we got a hand up. Okay, Councillor Huntley, go ahead.
through your chair to this page. Just an observation more than a question. Is that this whole thing is based on 6,500 voters or electorates or whatever the term is. I'm sorry, but I guess the question is there a reconciliation at some point?
Yes, so we only get billed per elector. So it was 3,400, I think, 3,300 electors we had last time. So roughly that's what we get paid for, charged for.
So the votes cast become what you get charged for.
I believe that is correct, sir. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I just wasn't too clear on that, so thank you for pointing that out.
Very good. Any other questions? If not, I see Councillor Huntley is going to move this one. And Councillor Moore, can I get a second?
Sure. Yes.
Very good. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Well done, Ms. Page. Next item, report CAO report and capital status, Ms. Hurley. The report is before us. Is there any questions?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, if there's any questions, we're happy to answer, but this is our regular update.
Very good. You can see everybody with their two monitors because nobody is actually looking at this camera. Everybody's looking somewhere else. Myself included. Okay. If there is no questions, motion then to receive that. Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Belch, does that work for you to second? I see Councillor Moore. Okay, Councillor Moore is my second. Go ahead, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Mayor
Yes.
McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Belch, Councillor Belch,
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Council committee verbal reports. Deputy Mayor Graham.
Through you, Mayor. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend the Melbourne Valley Trails Work Day that occurred last weekend, but I understand from some of the photos that were shared, it was a very successful event. But they've noted that obviously it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to understand that there's been a lot of moisture circulating around. So some of the trails, especially in the low-lying areas, are specifically quite muddy. So, and due to the obviously ongoing COVID issues, we weren't able to have as robust a workday as we'd hoped. But we will continue to work on them and keep them in the best shape they can. But just exercise caution and do the best you can and make sure you wear boots and maybe not your best pants. So best of luck, and that's the extent of my update.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Huntley.
Nothing at this time.
Very good. Councillor Moore.
Nothing at this time, just that the next library board meeting will be November 16th at 7 o'clock.
Very good. Councillor Belch.
Nothing at this time.
Very good. Okay, can I get a motion then to receive those verbal reports? Deputy Mayor Graham, Councillor Huntley, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Belch, Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes,
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
motion is approved. There is no general business, no correspondence for information, no correspondence for action. We'll move into bylaws. And bylaw number 2021-63 being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement with Simply Voting Inc. for the provision of telephone and internet voting services in the 2022 municipal election. And bylaw number 2021-64 being a bylaw to delegate a staff certain authority to set out in the Planning Act, be read a first, second, and third time, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the corporate seal attached thereto. Moved by, I'm going to go with Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Moore. Does that work?
Sure.
Very good. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Councillor Belch, Councillor Belch, Councillor Belch.
It's saying that I'm not muted.
Yeah.
Perfect. And we just heard you, Councillor Belch. That's wonderful. And Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. There is no unfinished business. There's no any notices of motion. Seeing none. Confirming bylaw being bylaw number 2021-65 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the meeting held November 1st, 2021. Be read a first, second, third time, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and corporate seal attached thereto. Moved by Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Belch, Councillor Belch, Councillor Belch, Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you hear Councillor Belch, Mayor
I
McFadden?
did.
Heard Councillor Belch. That was a yes.
That was a simultaneous yes.
That was in
Perfect.
chorus.
Deputy Mayor Graham, we have your yes. Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
and Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. A motion to adjourn. Councillor Belch and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and through you, Mayor McFadden, we have lost Councillor Belch.
Oh, boy. Can he move something that he was? Do I need a new seconder?
Yes, let's try that again, Mayor McFadden.
Okay, who was my mover?
We're going to start.
We'll
It
start from
was
fresh.
Councillor Belch was who you had for your mover, but he is not on the call any longer. So let's.
Okay, I don't think I've ever had to redo a motion to adjourn, but we're going to go with Huntley and Graham today on the motion to adjourn. Madam Clerk, I'm going to call for the final recorded vote of the day.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Moore,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and we will note that Councillor Belch has left the meeting for 1:56.
Very good. Motion is approved. Meeting is adjourned. We have upcoming meetings and events. Millbrook BIA Board of Management meeting is Monday, November 4th at 8 a.m. via Zoom. Cabot Public Library Board meeting is Tuesday, November 16th at 7 p.m. Councillor Moore, is that still via Zoom? It doesn't say that on the agenda, or is it in person?
No, it's still been Zoom.
It is still via Zoom. Okay, thank you. Next one is Municipal Revitalization and Heritage Advisory Committee, Thursday, November 18th at 9 a.m. via Zoom. And Millbrook Valley Trails Advisory Committee meeting Monday, November 22nd at 5 p.m. via Zoom.